everybody, welcome to the week of August 3rd through 7th. We are continuing on with cause and effect today. So before you get going with the rest of this video, make sure that you have a piece of paper or your notebook and a pen or a pencil with you today. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Our goals today are to identify cause and effect transition words and which words we use in certain situations, and how to use transition words appropriately when we are talking about cause and effect. So before we get started with the transition words, let's go ahead and review the difference between cause and effect. The cause, we said last week, is the event that makes something happen, and it happens first in time. So it's really important that we remember when we're talking about cause and effect that cause happens first in time. This is going to be a really big idea for us today. Our signal words or transition words that help us show cause are the words because, since, and for that reason. We've got some more, but these are the biggest ones that we're going to see. Effect is the event that happens as a result of the cause. It's the event that happens second in time, and it cannot exist without a cause. What this means is that cause always comes first in time, and effect always comes second in time. The effect would not exist if the cause did not happen. So some signal words that show us effect are words like therefore, consequently, as a result, thus, and accordingly. Now, just like our signal words for cause, they're not the only ones we see, but they're some of the major ones. So let's start talking about our transition words with the word because. So what I want you to do is I want you to first write a sentence that uses the word because to show cause and effect. Go ahead and pause the video so that you have a second to go ahead and write down your sentence. All right, so the sentence that I came up with is this one. I was late for work because I missed my alarm. I could also have rewritten it with because to come first to say, because I missed my alarm, I was late for work. Now, when we read both of these sentences, they make complete sense. I was late for work because I missed my alarm. Okay, that makes sense. If you had gotten your alarm, you would have woken up and made it to work on time. The other sentence makes sense too. Because I missed my alarm, I was late for work. It still sounds good. It's still showing cause and effect. So what do we notice that is actually different between these two sentences? So what I see is I see a lot of similarities. They both have the same pieces of information. I missed my alarm and I was late for work. They both use the word because. Those are my similarities that I see. For differences, I see that in the second sentence, I start with the word because. And I also see that there's a comma here. There's no comma in the first sentence, and I didn't start with that word because. So why do we do this? Why do we change the grammar? Why do we change the structure of the sentences? A lot of it has to do with showing cause and effect appropriately. So first thing we want to do is make sure we can tell the difference between cause and effect. So let's take a look at our first sentence. I was late for work because I missed my alarm. What I see is the two halves of the sentences are showing me cause and effect. Now, I know logically the first event in time is that I had to miss my alarm. The second event in time is that I was late for work. But what I see in the sentence is that the way that it is written, the effect has come first and the cause has come second. That's perfectly fine. Let's look at the second sentence. I'm still going to have the same cause and effect, but what I'm going to see is that they are arranged a little bit differently. In the second sentence, my cause is now first, and my effect is now second. What's really important to remember with cause and effect sentences is that the effect can come first or second. It does not matter. In time, though, cause will always come first. That is never going to change. Cause always comes first. So when we write sentences, they can be flip-flopped around, but when we're speaking about cause and effect in time, cause must always come first. So now let's talk a little bit about the grammar of these sentences. When we talk about the reason why because starts the sentence and doesn't start the sentence. What we're really talking about is independent and dependent clauses. Now, I remember growing up, going to school, I was told that you shouldn't start a sentence with because. It just can't work and we shouldn't do it. Well, we actually can start a sentence with because, but we want to make sure that we're doing it appropriately. And the way that we make sure we're doing it appropriately is by checking out the differences between independent and dependent clauses. So we're going to start with the independent clauses. Now, when I hear that word independent, I think of being on my own, being able to do things by myself, and not needing help from someone else. An independent clause, if we take that idea and put it together with a clause, it's part of a sentence that can stand by itself, and it has a subject and a predicate. That's what we're seeing right here. So what that means is that if I were to say this sentence out loud, it makes perfect sense and I don't need any more explanation. So from our original sentence, I would say that I was late for work is my independent idea. It can stand by itself. Now, the dependent clause, on the other hand, is just the opposite. When something or someone is dependent, they need someone's help. They can't do things on their own. So I always think about kids as being dependent. They need someone else to help them. If we apply that to clauses, we are going to say that a dependent clause cannot stand alone, which means that it needs an independent clause. It needs to be hooked up with this independent idea. It will still have a subject and a predicate, but it will not stand by itself. So what that means is that I just can't say that part of the sentence alone. It needs the independent clause to help it make sense. So in my original because sentence, when I see that word because, that's my clue that I'm dealing with a dependent clause. So when I say, because I missed my alarm, if I just stop it there, I feel like I'm missing something. I can't just say because I missed my alarm. It needs to be put together with the beginning part of that sentence. So let's look back at that sentence and see how that actually works. So we're still dealing with the same sentences. I was late for work because I missed my alarm, and because I missed my alarm, I was late for work. But let's look at how they are independent or dependent. So in our first sentence, I was late for work because I missed my alarm. That's how we had separated for cause and effect. We follow the same pattern when we are looking for independent and dependent. I was late for work is a phrase that I can say, and it makes perfect sense. You don't need any more information. I was late for work. Yeah, that sounds good. That happens. Now, if I read the second half of the sentence, because I missed my alarm, that doesn't work quite as well. I cannot say all by itself because I missed my alarm. I'm missing pieces of information. That makes it dependent. What we see is that this word because is hooking up the independent and the dependent clause. It's doing its job. The job of the word because is to hook things together. How about the second sentence? Well, we're still seeing the same separation. Because I missed my alarm, I was late for work. Can we predict what we think might happen with independent and dependent? My prediction is that they are going to switch places. The phrase itself has not changed. Because I missed my alarm is still dependent. I still can't say it and have it be complete. I was late for work is still independent. I can say it out loud and it still makes sense. So when we are talking about the rules that we have to follow in terms of grammar, when because starts a sentence, you must add a comma to combine the independent and dependent clauses. And that's because the word because is not doing its job, so you need a comma to connect. If the job of the word because is to show connection, when it's at the beginning of a sentence, it's not connecting anything. That's why I need that comma here to join together my dependent and independent ideas. You do not need a comma if because is in the middle of the sentence. That's because the word because is doing its job, so we do not need that comma. Back up in my first sentence, I see I was late for work because I missed my alarm. That word because is doing its job. It's showing the connection between my cause and effect. All right, so let's talk about other transition words. I think I've said the word because too many times today, so I want to see if I could do the same work with other transition words. So I want you to take the sentence that you wrote with the word because. Can you rewrite it using a different transition word? So off to the side here, we see a list of words that help show cause. We've seen these before. And we see a list of words that show effect or result. And we've seen these words before as well. So what I've done is I've taken my sentence and I've rewritten it without the word because. I've put in some different transition words. So let's see if they actually work. I was late for work because I missed my alarm. Now, we already said that this was a good sentence. It makes sense. It's showing the cause and effect appropriately. So what if I take it and change out the word? I was late for work, therefore I missed my alarm. Well, I'm not so sure about that. Therefore is a word that shows effect, right? So that means that I missed my alarm is the effect. That means it has to happen second. But that doesn't make any sense. I can't be late for work and then miss my alarm. It doesn't work that way. So this is not a good replacement for the word because. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. What if we tried it with a different word? I was late for work since I missed my alarm. Well, that sounds better. Let's check and make sure. Since is a word that shows cause. That means since I missed my alarm is the cause. That makes sense. We said that the alarm had to happen first in order for that sentence to be complete. So I like this sentence. I think it makes sense. Let's check out another one. I was late for work. As a result, I missed my alarm. Oh, this one is reminding me a lot of the sentence we did with therefore. It doesn't make a ton of sense. I feel like I'm missing some information. If I go back and look at my chart, as a result is an explanation or results word. It has to do with an effect. That means that I missed my alarm is the effect. We said that that doesn't work. That is not the effect in the sentence. So I think that this is not a good transition word substitution. So let's talk about the rules we should follow with these words. So how do we do it appropriately? We're going to say that cause transition words always introduce the cause. So that means when you see them at the beginning, they're going to introduce a cause. Effect transition words, on the other hand, always introduce an effect. That means when I see them, whatever follows after is the effect. So let's take one of those sentences that didn't quite make sense. I was late for work, therefore I missed my alarm. Therefore is an effect word. That means it's introducing the effect. But I missed my alarm is not the effect in this sentence. So to change that, what we can do is we can change around the way the sentence is laid out. Instead of saying I missed my alarm, with the word therefore, we're going to put it first. I missed my alarm. Therefore, I was late for work. Now the word therefore introduces the effect in the sentence. It shows that what happens comes second. So what we've got is that when we are dealing with cause and effect transition words, we want to think about, is it cause or is it effect? What is actually being seen inside of that sentence? All right, everybody. So last thing we want to do is review the homework that we're getting up to this week. So today, on August 4th, we're posting the cause and effect reading. Our reading is all about how presidential assassinations changed U.S. politics. We're looking for cause and effect. What changes happened as a result of those assassinations? On Wednesday, we're going to be dealing with the question of the day. So just go ahead and log in and answer your question. On Thursday, we have another cause and effect reading. Why did the Titanic sink? So again, we're looking at cause and effect. And then on Friday, we have our last question of the day of the week. Remember that all of our assignments are due on Sunday, but those are just times for you. So you can finish these on your own time, but make sure that you are trying all the activities, okay? You can call me, email me, remind me, send me any questions that you have about the homework on Google Classroom. And remember that if you want to be working on paper and not online, you can go ahead and pick up your paper homework inside the blue mailbox outside of school. It's there for you. Just look for the folder that says Miss Alex's GED Google Classroom, okay? All right, everybody. Good luck with your homework, and give me a call or send me a message if you need any help. See you next week.